I am, again, so impressed with the progress that she has made, even though she moved up to Pemberton. I mean, what can you do up in Pemberton, right?
Work for yourself.
Play golf.
Ski, canoe.
And you can tell that her voice really reaches out to everybody. You're not going to fall asleep. You're going to be happy that you got up early and went through the little bit of ice that is out there. So, come on, let's all stand up. Let's get some exercise and welcome Blair Kaplan.
Well, that's the first time anyone's greeted me with a standing ovation. So that's great. Going backwards, should I start my slideshow backwards? Start at the end? So I'm Blair. I know some of you in here, some of you I've never met. So before I get going, I just want to kind of get a feel of everyone's experience on social media here. Who here is on Instagram? Like, show of hands is good. Okay, who here is on Twitter? And who here is on LinkedIn? Okay. Who here has a Facebook page for their business? Okay, that's great. I like this group. I love it. And who here just spends time reading other blogs, commenting on blogs, watching YouTube videos? Who here engages on other people's content? Okay, great. That's all I want to know. I want to know how engaged we are. So if I'm talking about something and you have a question, just raise your hand. I want this to be an interactive session. I'm going to be doing I'm going to do some storytelling. A lot of what I'm talking about is actually from personal experience. So if you have a question, feel free to interrupt. If I need to hold it till the end, I'll let you know. But I want this to be interactive because I'm here to share my lessons so I can help you. I can help you leverage your brand when you step into a conversation and it goes sideways, or if someone has some feedback for you and it's not the most positive. I want to walk you through what to do. And there's no right or wrong way to do things. This is what's worked for me, and I'll share some things that haven't worked for me. So, I don't have a clicker. Who am I? I'm born and raised in Winnipeg. Who's been there?
Yes.
They just got a huge dumping of snow, so it's really funny when everyone's like, oh no, it's like foggy and sort of snowy. Winnipeg just got like 3 or 4 feet of snow. Ooh. Yeah, like there's a lot of snow, and they didn't even have a snow day, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, so I spent my summers at a summer camp canoeing, hiking, really outdoorsy, and then winters inside because it's -40. And as I was growing up, what I started doing was I would, in elementary school, grade 6, junior high school, planning parties. I was planning parties. I was the first person to have a dance party. I rented out a community center with my best friend. We had a dance party. My high school friends went for dinner with me last night, and they reminded me that I was the first one to have a dance party. We rented out a boat and charged $10 a ticket, sold out, had 400 people come party on a boat for our Sweet 16. I started doing event planning, and it was really awesome. Alongside that, I've always been an entrepreneur. When I was 12, I got my mom to sign up for Avon so I could go door to door selling makeup. When I was 18, I imported cigar box purses from New York and sold them in the mall. That was a really random adventure of mine. Anyways, I've had lots of journeys like that, and so I was on my way to become a psychologist, and I realized I probably need one. I probably shouldn't become one. And I ended up going into PR. I went to the University of Winnipeg, and I graduated from the public relations program. And I was very lucky because during that time I was working for a little company called Lululemon. I helped open the store in Winnipeg, and I worked there. I worked there and in the bars while I went through university. And they presented me the opportunity to be a community leader in Edmonton upon graduation. So literally finished my last class from PR, packed my car, and drove away from Winnipeg to Edmonton, which is like Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm moving out of Winnipeg. Yeah. So I ended up in Edmonton. I was the community leader, which is like internal PR. Super awesome. Loved it. Edmonton wasn't for me. Had a -40 moment. I locked my keys in my car at 2 a.m. I like panicked, and then I decided once the issue was resolved, I was going to move. And a month later, I was in Vancouver.
Yay.
Yeah. So I got to move across the country with Lululemon, and when I moved out here, I decided it's a recession. I'm in my early 20s, so why not start my own business? So I decided to start my own PR company. I've always been extremely ambitious. Alongside starting my PR company, at one point I had a coupon company, which is how I met most of you. And so I inspired people to live a fun and healthy lifestyle through coupons, similar kind of to Groupon, but not Groupon. And alongside this, I had my PR company, and what I really learned was that a lot of people needed help with PR, but more specifically, a lot of people really needed help with social media. So in 2008 is when I started my PR company and my coupon company, and my PR company evolved. People reaching out to me for lessons, companies reaching out for me to create strategies, to educate their team, basically a la carte. And so my PR company is mostly, I do a lot of content creation, but I do mostly public relations in the digital space. I tell people I create conversations and manage perceptions because that's what I do. I work with companies all around the world. I've worked with companies in our backyard. I've worked with startups. I've worked with businesses who've been in business for decades. So I've also done a lot of learning. As you know, with social media, it's a fast-moving fireball, and there isn't a manual on how to do things. There's what works for one person that doesn't work for someone else. So it's a lot of trying out, figuring out what works. And so over the course of, I'd say, the past 6 years, I feel like I've really mastered a few things, and one of them would be diffusing fires. So that's a little bit about kind of how I got to where I was. Oh yeah, now I'm in Pemberton. So I lived in Vancouver, and it's funny because I met my boyfriend online. It's funny because my world's online. I actually met my boyfriend online. And ended up I moved to Pemberton. I've never lived in Whistler. So this is just an open invitation that if you're coming up to Whistler, call me up. I love to hang out with people. We can talk shop. You can write off your trip. I like to go for drinks, coffee. I'm usually in bed by 9:30, so just keep that. So, social media is a place to engage. It's a place to, create conversations. And I think the business community around the world is starting to understand that it's a PR tool. Public relations, who here knows what public relations is? Yeah, so it's the planned effort to influence public opinion through responsible action. Social media is a PR tool. You can control what you put out. You can help control people's perceptions of you. You can't fully control it, but you can use this as a tool to do that. It's a sales tool. This is a tool where you can generate revenue. There's multiple ways to do that. You can have links to your website where they can buy things, or you're using it as a sales tool because you're building relationships with people who essentially will, spend money with you. People do business with people they like, know, and trust, right? It's a customer service tool. Maybe if you're, I'll just use Lululemon. Someone might have an issue with the pants they bought. Someone might have a question. Someone might be mad because they're too short for their clothes or too tall. People go to social media to provide feedback to the organization, to ask questions, to complain. Social media, one of my clients, we get so many, I manage an international golf company's social media, and we get customer inquiries from around the world on Facebook, on comments on pictures, indirect messages, posts to the wall. We get them on comments on Instagram, and direct messages on Instagram, and tweets, and direct messages on Twitter. So it's a customer service tool. Where can I get this? Where in Idaho can I find this product? Hey, do you make this in left hand? So I'm basically their customer service rep sitting in Pemberton, talking about golf. But it's a customer service tool. It's easier for them to message us on social media than to call a number or email us. Who here has used social media to reach out to a brand for customer service? It's just super easy. You think of something, you're on your phone, you just shoot them a message. A lot of times brands get back to you, and if they don't, you try again. Maybe that's not the right way to communicate with them, if they're not there yet. It is what it is. And it's a place to engage. It's a place to create conversations. Maybe you follow a company who puts out the most amazing recipes, and you see something you really want to try, and you just are so stoked on it, you comment on there, can't wait to try this tonight, and someone else might be like, me too, and then you start talking to someone who's halfway around the world about this awesome cheesecake recipe. So it's happened. I go down the rabbit hole often. So what you need to know about social media, okay, this lesson is something that's really important. So social media and PR, they go hand in hand. The one thing you want to make sure you are always doing when you're engaging on social media, especially when you're dealing with the negative side of it, is you always want to be defining your brand, never defending your brand. You're never defending your brand. Always stay true to who your brand is and your integrity. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to define our brand. We're not defending our brand. And I'm going to tell you a bit of a story about how this kind of resonates shortly. So there's a couple different types of negative online interactions. For the purpose of time, I'm only going to focus on complaints, constructive criticism, feedback, and trolling. So before I go into it, I'm just going to tell a bit of a story. We're in a safe space here, and like it's okay. Sometimes people love your brand, some people don't, right? It happens. Sometimes, maybe 90% of the time you do really great things, 9% of the time you do like almost really great things, at 1% of the time something happens. Has anyone here ever received a complaint or something negative posted about their brand or about a company they work for on social media? And like, it's okay even if you have, you don't admit it. It's hard. It's kind of gut-wrenching, right? And a lot of people, like even if you look at TripAdvisor, people love to complain. People love to complain. They're not like, oh wow, I had the best service ever. Like some people do, but it's not, like I had a really great experience at an outlet store and I was like, I'm gonna tweet the company because it was really great. And I'm trying to do more of that because people don't do that. People aren't like, yes, this was the best cup of coffee I've ever had. It was, the person behind the till was really rude and didn't even greet me with a smile. So people love to complain online, and like if someone says something even a little negative, and maybe you're like this, but like you get that little nod, like that, oh, I didn't mean to do that, or like they took it the wrong way, or I don't want people talking bad about me. It happens. Even if it happens to a brand I represent, they don't know it's me. It's not an attack on Blair. They're mad that a certain product isn't made, and they take it out on the company, but I'm the one on the other end. And it's still kind of gut-wrenching, right? You want people to be happy. So, complaints are probably the most common, like, negative online experience. You may have not ever made one online, you may have not ever received them, but I'm sure we've all seen people complain on social media. Yeah. Is that correct? Constructive criticism and feedback, that's more, maybe I'm going to stick with my golf client. Maybe it's just someone who really wishes that someone in their area sold a product, or a suggestion to make a certain golf club that's only in right-hand model and left-hand model. It's not necessarily negative. Sometimes it's negative, but it's a suggestion to help improve the business. And then trolling. Does everyone here know what trolling is? No. Okay, awesome. We're going to get there. I'm not even going to go into that yet because I want to focus on the trolling because I got some stories to tell you. Okay, so.
Is it involved with Billy Goat?
Billy Goat?
Troll story?
Oh yeah, no Billy Goat today. So, in any of these situations, the best things for you to do is, before you do anything, take your fingers off the keyboard. Step away from the computer. Breathe. Like, holy poop. People don't like to hear bad stuff about them. And like, you might have a hot head, you might be completely chill. Stop what you're doing, step away from the technology, and breathe. Even if it's something little like, oh, I found a hair in my cake. You know, I still eat it. It's only bad if it falls twice. Sometimes you want to keep track, you want to document. So I work in public transportation as well. We document every complaint. We want to keep track of the complaints. Public transportation obviously is very different than running your own, like Dermabrite and public transportation, very different. But so public transportation, as you can imagine, gets a fair amount of complaints. It can be about service, customer service, scheduling, routing, equipment, whatever it may be. We document absolutely everything so we can keep track of what the complaints are. If it has to do with customer service, we can do retraining. If it has to do with equipment, we have to talk to BC Transit. If it has to do with the scheduling, we talk to the scheduling department. If it has to, etc. So we keep track of it so we can track our progress. It also really helps when there's trolling. to document what's happening, because there's, you know what, some people out there, they just pick a couple subjects, they might not like you, and they're just gonna ride you. They're just gonna make up stories and be negative, and once you identify them as a troll, you know that they are someone who is just trying to get a rise out of you. But documenting is important. So even if you're like a small business, start an Excel spreadsheet. If you get a complaint or something negative, just keep track of it. The date, how it came in, what it was, who said it, and what you did to resolve it. Never leave anything hanging. You always want to resolve it. So the first thing you want to do is once you take your breath, and you've documented it, and you've calmed down, you want to respond. You want to respond. I spelled apologize wrong. But you're going to want to apologize.
Sorry.
Apologize. Everyone needs to apologize.
You're gonna hear about this on your Facebook.
I apologize for the spelling mistake.
What's the hashtag?
Apologize. You always want to apologize. Even if you know you're not in the wrong, apologize. I'm sorry to hear that's happened to you. My apologies that you feel this way. You want to publicly apologize. People see this comment. People want to know that you're responding. Respond in a timely manner. I mean, if someone complains and you're off the grid because you're in Jamaica on a cruise and you respond a week later, that's fine because you're still responding, but you want to do it in a timely manner. If someone complains at 1 a.m., don't feel like you need to respond at 1:05. You're also human. Transit, for example, we only have someone in the office 7 a.m. to 5:30. If someone complains about missing a bus at 2 a.m., we can't respond to them, right? That people want to know there's a human on the other end. Take conversation offline. Always take the conversation off of the public space. If you need to, maybe it's just you're apologizing, maybe you need to have a dialogue. Provide them your phone number, provide them your email, direct message them an explanation. Hey, it's Blair. I just want to let you know I got your complaint. We're looking into it. We're investigating it. I'm really sorry that happened to you. Here's my phone number. Here's my email address. Just a quick question. What time of day did this happen at? Publicly. Hey, Monica. Just want to let you know that I sent you a private message. I have some questions for you. I'm sorry that this happened. Take the conversation offline. Because if you start having that dialogue online, shit can hit the fan very fast. Because if someone's angry, they're angry. Who here's been angry? What you know how you act when you're angry. So, complaints. A statement that a situation is unsatisfactory or unacceptable. So, complaining. Complaining, I'd say, is one of the most common things that happens. Every business is different. We all know what a complaint is. We've all had them. Sometimes we make them to our friends. Sometimes we make them, to our family. I say if you have a complaint and you want to let a business know, provide it as constructive criticism because your name is associated to your business and your name is associated to that complaint. One of the most ineffective ways to complain is by swearing. Never swear. Never swear on social media. I get a lot, I might get, the bus never fucking came. What the fuck are you doing? It's like, I can't take you seriously, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't take that seriously. Hey, I was waiting for the 12:05 bus and unfortunately it never came. It was -10 out, etc. Like, that's a complaint. But when people start swearing, I automatically discredit them. When you're responding, use the same attitude. Professionalism is extremely important. Apologize, be professional. Find out the details. Investigate. So characteristics of someone who's complaining, usually they're really upset, annoyed, frustrated, angry. What do you do? Has anyone here had to deal with complaints online? How did you handle it?
Well, I actually want to bring the situation up. Maybe now is the right time.
Oh, okay.
I can if you.
Sure, yeah, let's do it. We're in the complaint zone.
So my company, 2 years after I started, there was a skincare product developed in the U.S. called Dermabrite. And it was one of those things where you went to Facebook, you clicked for $4.99, and then they started charging people's credit cards for $200, right, every month. And I had so many people call me because they didn't have a website. They found me. And people would leave notes on my Facebook page, oh, worst product ever, blah, blah, blah. And it was infuriating because it had nothing to do with me, right? So I made a point of addressing every call we got. I explained the situation, I told them what had happened. and even on Facebook, right, to say, look, you've got the wrong company, blah, blah, blah. But I was so annoyed because I thought, this is just gonna ruin my brand. But I agree, you just have to be professional, don't take it personally. And just make sure that you are putting something out there, right, to
Exactly.
counter it, so.
And so something like that, where you know all of a sudden there's going to be a firestorm, it's good to have a document with prepared messages, copy and paste messages, a few of them, so you don't want to keep sending the same one, but you can prepare messaging in case of something like that happening. You can prepare messaging, like just standardize apology messaging, but you want to also correspond with each person. You don't want to write them or discredit them. So something like that, I think what you did was great, because now you need to protect your brand's integrity because this other company in the States was pissing people off. You know now to stand up, but by you doing that publicly, and probably I'm assuming you responding, hi, thanks for reaching out. You're actually trying to reach a brand in the States. I'm a spa, I'm a clinic in Vancouver. By you doing that over and over again, people started to get the message and it probably tapered off, correct?
Yes.
Right, so.
Now, is it possible for her to try and identify if the complaint is local and maybe offering a little discount to entice the person to come to?
Well, it had nothing to do with her company, so what
Okay,
it is,
so-
it's
they're all
completely
there.
different.
Okay.
It'd be like, it'd be, yeah,
Got
it'd be like me having a farm. I can't even think of an
Okay,
example.
got
I need more coffee before example. This is just an example of a complaint. Worst service and rudeness ever. I never recommend this to anyone. Zappos, who knows Zappos? Shoe company. They responded, oh no, we're really sorry you had a bad experience. Is there anything we can do to help? This person did not respond in return. This is perfect. You can see the company responded the same time as the complaint. Well, large organizations have the manpower, right? So, perfect. Asking them what's wrong. They didn't give you any information. Apologize, find out what happened so you can make it better. Super simple. Constructive criticism. It doesn't have to necessarily be negative. You know, it's a process of offering feedback.
About that spelling.
Criticism.
I don't even know what's happening. Maybe my spell's wrong. I can't spell for the life of me, so.
We don't judge.
It's a drinking game.
I just have a question. When something like that comes up, is it easier for you to go back in and like correct that?
I can go back in.
No, I was just curious. I don't mean now, but I mean like.
Well, you know how when you make a spelling error, there's a red squiggle?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I meant once you've completed your presentation like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Like
that's
you
fine.
do it like sitting.
Just curious.
So with the constructive criticism, it's feedback. Should we take 5 minutes so I can go fix all this stuff? Hey guys, they asked to look good.
It's a spelling
This is a new presentation
trolling
that
her.
Blair did, especially for us, just to see if you can catch, if you're awake enough to catch any spelling
It's actually
mistakes.
part of
Well,
the
let's
presentation. It's
do-
actually planned, it's part of the presentation.
Okay, so back to the slide. And unless you guys don't want to learn about it, we can talk about spelling. Okay. So this is someone who reached out to a business owner in Whistler. The first tweet at the top, the little one, I just learned a horrible rumor. The bars I like in Whistler Blackcomb that you own don't permit women to be bartenders. True. It's not a complaint, it's a question, okay? So this person responded, hi, name, not true at all. If you have any further questions, feel free to DM for my email. Enjoy the snow. Right? Okay. So I'm going to talk about what happened here, because I followed it. It is a rumor that the specific organization doesn't have female bartenders. It's true. Like, I don't know if it's true, but like they're not visibly out and about. And what happened was this person here, cool ass puppy, has like 10,000 followers. Okay? And so there's a continued dialogue that I didn't put in here on purpose because I want to show you this right here, this response, perfect. Not true, more questions, DM me. Take it offline because that's a jab. It's not a complaint, it's feedback. Hey, I heard this. Is it true?
No.
And so what actually happened with this? So I would say this, he handled it perfectly. What happened next? Not so perfect to the public eye. What happened next was this specific person, cool ass puppy, responded. He's like, I just went to these 3 locations, didn't see a female bartender. Another tweet, and I went to these 3 locations, still no one. So please tell me where so I can correct my statement. No response. Hey brah, I tried to DM you. I can't. It won't let me.
Oops.
So, dude,
Direct message.
what would you do? What would you do if you were this person trying to defend your brand?
Delete.
Never delete.
Reach me at this email, call my cell. Another way of contact.
I don't know what he did.
Can I have your email?
He did not respond publicly, that's for sure. So the conversation quickly went poorly. What he should have done, in my opinion, would be going to check his settings on his Twitter, make sure that this person could DM them. Hey, I just checked my settings, you can DM me now. Because what happened was, cool ass puppy was pissed off. Because the owner was like, yeah, we got female bartenders, and he actually went to every single location in Whistler. And there was not one female bartender visible. Okay? And that's not okay to say that's not true. But if it's not true, he needs to clarify, right? And the thing is, Cool Ass Puppy has over 10,000 followers, and he used to work at big name companies. It's all in his profile. He is an active Twitter user. Twitter can go bad very fast. Now, internet trolling. It's basically an asshole. Basically, someone online who has nothing better to do. Did I spell troll right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, perfect. Yeah! I actually think I'm partially dyslexic. I'm self-diagnosed. Like, I have trouble with numbers sometimes too, so I do apologize.
Dyslexic, hypochondriac.
Yeah, maybe. But like, yeah, I don't know, I gotta bring back the red squiggles. Anyways, internet troll. Someone who basically comes into a discussion and posts comments to basically upset you. Who here has not, I'm not gonna ask, I hope none of you are trolls. If you are, please stop. Talk to me. Please don't do it. Who here has witnessed a trolling conversation? If you know what trolling is.
Well,
Someone-
where you divide the line of somebody just being obnoxious
Yeah,
versus.
and we're gonna
being
talk
troll,
about
I don't
that.
know. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, how to decide. But
There's
that's,
name
that
calling.
person,
There's a lot of name calling.
that person who's being obnoxious is a troll.
I would say trolls are passionate. Obnoxious people just can't help it. Trolls are out there passionately trying to create.
They're like hackers.
So really, they're just
It's
there.
their hobby.
They're just trying to get a rise out of you. They're trying to just join that conversation and get people agitated. So I'm going to tell you a little story before I go on, and we're going to talk about how to identify trolls and what to do. So I've done a lot of stuff in wellness, entertainment, fashion, hospitality, transportation. And someone who was a client actually brought me on to work with them in Whistler. They're a large hospitality company, and they brought me on because they needed social media help, specifically because they were having a TV show. The TV show was being aired around the world. The company didn't do any prep before I came on board with PR strategies, marketing strategies, social media strategies, and I came on like a week before the show hit the world. So 2 things happened. There was 2 things I had to do. So this TV show, each episode featured between 5 and 10 businesses in Whistler each episode. It was a docuseries, it was a Bravo reality show. So each business featured businesses in Whistler. And these businesses obviously knew the show was happening because there was camera crews in their businesses. And then, so there's the Whistler bubble's very protective of each other. Has anyone ever lived in Whistler? Yeah, we're a very, very special group of people. We're all very protective of our community, our businesses, our reputation. And so group of people that were, every episode, all the businesses, they were left in the dark. They did not know what was going on with this show. Then there's the world, who now knows a TV show's coming out because a 2-minute teaser is broadcasted around the world. This 2-minute teaser is all the raciest scenes in the whole entire season. People making out, people naked, people skiing crazy things, okay? So this show, obviously some people in here might like reality TV, like the Housewives shows, like we all have our guilty pleasures. I really like Mob Wives, it's weird. And so that 2-minute teaser about this TV show got people talking and people stoked to see the show. What it did in Whistler was it pissed everyone off because none of the businesses had any idea about what was happening. When's the show airing? What's it gonna look like? Is it gonna make our town look bad? Okay? Well, that was fun. So I came in and had to figure out what do I do? What do I do? So I'm gonna call this part 1. So part 1, businesses. I learned that there was a lack of communication with the businesses about the transparency. I watched each episode between 5 and 8 times. I had to watch it about 3 times before it actually aired, and then I had to live tweet while it aired. I watched a lot of reality TV show last winter. And so what I would do, because I couldn't show the businesses the episodes ahead of time. It would be a breach of contract. So I had all the businesses and PR people in Whistler get together, and we just talked about what they wanted. They're like, we want a heads up. We want to know what the episode's about. We want to know if there's anything we need to know that could be, potentially put our customers at risk or tarnish our reputation. I said, no problem. So what I did was I watched each episode ahead of time. I wrote a brief summary. I wrote potential red flags, so things that could be red flagged. I created responses to deal with these red flags. An example would be guests wanting to take selfies with a bear. Whistler's very bear aware. So like how to deflect that conversation if their guests want to do the same. And then I prepared social media tweets for before the show and after the show. So this went out the day before the show aired to the businesses featured in the show and all the PR people, including the pillars in town. So the Chamber, the Resort Municipality Whistler, Whistler Blackcomb, and Tourism Whistler. So that group, the business owners who were pretty pissed off, I massaged that. That helped them out. I was being extremely transparent, really communicating. Businesses that were featured, I'd call them, hey, you're going to be on the show today, and give them a rundown. Group 2, so Facebook in Whistler. There every year, every season, there's a group created on Facebook for the season. This is one person who runs it. He doesn't even live in Whistler, but right now it's Whistler Winter 2016-2017. There's about 10,000 plus members in this group. That is where the trolls live. I didn't have experience with trolls, like real trolls, until last year. Like I've seen it, but I had to be the one to put these fires out. So this is what happened. This 2-minute teaser hits, and someone posts it in the group. And the trolls came running. All these comments, like there was hundreds of comments. Rumors about the company, rumors about the show, like incorrect facts, but the same, like people, like some people one-ups, like Bob and Sandy and whatnot, but then what I learned, there was the same like 10 people who were literally always commenting, negative comments about the company, about the show, about the company, the owner. And so what I started doing was what we're talking about. I started documenting it, documenting who was complaining, trying to identify who's a troll and who's actually complaining, who has some feedback and who's an asshole. Because you know what? There's people out there with vendettas. There's people out there, maybe it's a musician who's not being hired by the company anymore. Maybe it's an ex-bartender. I don't know these things. This is now like my 3rd day on the job. Okay, so I start documenting, who, the complaints and kind of figuring out. And then what happens? Next is not my favorite. The company is a large company, and different staff members from around the organization start defending the company. Okay, so they start jumping in and commenting on comments. Not true at all. This isn't true. Like, okay, so that's public. Then I have the owner of the company did not want to listen to my advice. He was not a social media savvy person. He did not care what I had to say. What he decided was right. Who here's dealt with people like that? Super fun. So He actually told me, like, I don't care what your advice is, this is what I want you to do. I'm like, okay. He had one of his executives private message all of the trolls on Facebook. Hey, it's so-and-so, just want to clarify some facts for you, blah, 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 blah. Then, I was like, okay, I don't agree with this. Totally don't agree with this, this is not what you do. And so, that settled a bit. The next week, one of the people that was messaged publicly on this group, did anyone else get a private message from one of XYZ's minions?
No.
And then another firestorm happened, and then more people from the company were joining in to defend, and I could not control it. What do you do in that situation? What do you do when the owner of the company is not listening to you?
Fire your client.
Well, at this point, yeah, well, I couldn't, it was too deep. So, what we did, we let it ride out. There was a policy in place, but they didn't feel like they wanted to implement it for social media. But what we did was we did a mean tweet segment. We decided, you know what, we gotta poke fun at ourselves. We gotta make fun of this, because if there's another firestorm, we gotta be ready. So we pulled the most obscene comments. We had all the executives in a room, and we didn't even tell them what they were gonna say. We gave them the comment, they read it, we made a video. Just like Jimmy Kimmel's. It actually was super primo. Thank God we didn't have to use it. We didn't have to use it. It stopped. Because what happened was the show started and people actually saw it wasn't that bad. They realized it wasn't what it was. And people feed off each other's negative energy. You know, oh, like, I'm angry too. Me too. Let's be angry together. And once they like saw, okay, it's just a show where people like ski and stuff, and yeah, people drink. That's what happens in Whistler. Like it wasn't as crazy as the 2-minute trailer made it out to be. We actually ended up using this mean tweets video for a comedy night in Whistler. It was called Chairlift Review. We were a sponsor, and it was the opening thing. So it didn't go unseen. So what we did was we poked fun at ourselves, because like, what else are you gonna do in that situation? So that was one part of that.
Blair,
Yes.
what did you recommend that they didn't?
Stop responding. Do not private message those people. No one from the company should be engaging and defending. Remember, define, don't defend. Okay? But I was told, like, no, we want our army of people out there defending ourselves. It's like, why? Like that, but I mean, you as a professional can provide advice, right? If you have eczema, don't eat dairy. But I might still have eczema and I might go eat a block of brie. It's gonna happen. So that was one thing. So that was interesting, and I did a lot of learning, and you know what was really great is I built a lot of really great relationships in Whistler because of that. I would say that I confidently can say that I saved that brand's reputation with the businesses in town by being that bridge. Now the other thing that happened, so in this show that is aired across North America, heavily in the deep south, like Atlanta, Florida, like even New York, that's not south, that's east. But this is on a network where it's the same network as the Real Housewives. Yes?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay, I'll be fast. Long story short, what happens in this show, one of the bosses is an African-American female, and she gets fired. So now the real trolls come out on social media. We are racist, we are sexist. Oh my gosh. By this time, the owner of the company learned that he learned to trust me, and we literally the company was getting spammed with a lot of interactions from trolls. So in that situation, we stayed silent. We didn't need to defend ourselves because it was apparent that these people were trolls, and they were basically abusive. I'm gonna just skip ahead because this is important. Characteristics of a troll are basically mean and they're bullies. These are just examples. I just gave you a bunch of examples, so you don't need to read this. This is just a guy being funny, poking fun at his friend, but he's being an asshole, really. Someone's car's broken, he's like, get a flux capacitor. Well, like, that's not a real thing. So dealing with trolls. I'm not even gonna put that there because I don't want you guys to read it. I want you to listen to me. When you're dealing with trolls, Don't deal with trolls. Document them. Figure out who the troll is. Don't respond. Don't engage. Don't fuel their fire. If you have the ability to block and report them, do it. Have you ever reported someone? It's easy. If you don't know how, message me, ask a friend. Almost every social network you can report someone. If they are being abusive, if they are threatening you, if they're threatening someone else, report them. These are bullies. These are people sitting behind their screen hiding. They have nothing better to do. They're twisted people. Trolls are not fun.
Maybe 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, weird hours. Like,
International Trolling Hour,
yeah, I mean,
3:47.
and you know what? Sometimes on Twitter, you know they're a troll because their face is an egg. They haven't hatched yet, right? They have 3 followers. Sometimes one person will create multiple accounts and go on and have, you know? So this TV show, I was dealing with a lot of trolls. Basically, the biggest thing with that is if it's a complaint or constructive criticism, engage, apologize, respect the person's feedback. If it's a complaint, take it offline. If you identify this person as a troll, what do? Don't engage. And with that, do you have questions? Is it about my spelling?
Oh, I have one
No, it's not about your
question.
spelling, I promise.
So,
Okay.
seeing as how,
She's been sleepy. I was already speaking.
sorry,
She
yeah.
didn't hear it all. That's okay. Go ahead. Go.
Oh, okay. Do you foresee that there's going to be more trolling, seeing as how Donald Trump has shown that, hey, trolling,
Oh yeah, it's not going,
success.
trolling's not going anywhere, it's just about how you deal with it. And like sometimes you get sucked down the rabbit hole and you're all of a sudden following all the people commenting on Trump. And then all of a sudden it's 3 hours later, what could you be doing with that 3 hours? Just walk away. It's sometimes, you know, if it's interesting and there's drama, like people like drama, we're humans, we can't turn away from the car crash. Try to, because you're just adding fuel to that fire by watching it. Acknowledge that, you can acknowledge that it's there, but if you see someone being abusive and it has nothing to do with you, you can also report them, because what if it was you? What if it was happening to you?
So-
Angela?
Just the other day, I saw on LinkedIn, because obviously I don't own Office Move Pro, I'm an account rep
Yeah.
for them, so fine. But on my LinkedIn, it's I've worked at this company for this amount of time, and LinkedIn's a very professional network. So our PR manager, or whatever,
Yeah.
in Toronto, who was my mentor back there, CEO's wife, just yesterday posted a whole thing. So-and-so person does not work for Office Move Pro, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like she posted it, yeah, in LinkedIn, because he put that he's the office manager at Office Move Pro. So LinkedIn is extra tricky because anybody can say that they work for your company. So apparently she said, I've tried to reach out to LinkedIn multiple times to report this person, so maybe he was private messaging, but again, his following is very small, you know, there's not 500 plus.
Yeah, I'd say that situation,
It's,
I
like,
would have maybe
weird.
handled it differently.
Yeah, I mean, she's
I
not-
mean, I would never single someone out on social media.
I know.
I mean, anyone can say, hey, I own McDonald's. Like,
Right? But
you
then
know,
like,
I think there's legal ways you can go around that, but you never want to single anyone out on social media as a
because it could have
business.
been my guess is it's a fake account from the get-go maybe, and
Yeah,
they
it
just
could
maybe
be.
weren't hired as a mover, and the guy was
Eventually
like, I'll
LinkedIn,
show them.
yeah, eventually LinkedIn should get back to you, and if you
it was
if you go down the right path,
Path.
yeah,
Like
you
she's
can
a
always.
smart lady, and I saw it, so it seemed like maybe she had tried, and LinkedIn just maybe didn't do what they
Yeah.
needed, because they're human too, right?
Right.
Whoever's running that.
I would just say you never want to single anyone out on social media.
Yeah.
Unless they do something super awesome.
That's, yeah, like I.
Super awesome. You want to celebrate people. You don't want to. You don't want to.
Yeah, you post the good stuff.
Maybe you do.
Ben, okay, one more question.
If we're done, that's okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it seems like there's a predisposition to like, you know, it's hard to read tone and intent online. Simple example, I posted on my personal Facebook last night, you know, it upsets me to see somebody homeless on the street in this weather, right? And immediately the first reply that I got, which I haven't replied to yet, was a guy saying, well, what are you doing about it? Right?
Yeah.
Now, he could just be saying, what do you intend to do about it? Or it could totally be
You don't know.
judgmental.
Yeah.
I read it as like judgmental, and so my gut reaction was like, this mother effer, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I do a lot of fundraising work. I'm very active in the community, and I have done for a long time. So it's like I immediately wanted to jump down his throat with like, well, I do a lot. Like, what are you doing? And then, but it's good that you said take a breath. It's like, this is me at like 6 in the morning. I just woke up. I haven't had
Like
a
no coffee yet.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who knows what his intention actually is? So
You just
it just occurred to me that like how I respond totally crafts the conversation. I
Right.
can just give a really simple answer. and then-
Actually, like every year I donate X amount, and like
Yeah.
let me know if you want to help out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Kill some kindness.
because truthfully, I don't know his intent. He could actually have the best intentions. Probably not in this case, but who knows, right? And it's so hard to read tone and intent, right? So I think that's my takeaway from this is like take a minute.
Yeah, take a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyone else?
And I think people are waiting for the door
Sorry, that was
prizes.
really-
So
I'll hang around if you guys have other
You're going to be
questions.
around. She's not running off to Pemberton just right now. So we have created a lot of discussion and food for thought. So please talk amongst yourselves in respect to that. And Blair, thank you so much.
So I was looking for an elephant.
And so we want our photographer, and on behalf of the Greater Vancouver Board of Trade and the Kitsilano Business Leaders Meetup.
We would like
What?
to present you.
Okay.
Stay. This is a gift certificate to one of our upcoming keynote luncheons for you and the guests.
Oh, awesome.
To attend, yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
okay, we need a photo for LinkedIn, okay? No.
Angle towards, yeah, that's it, better, yeah, better. Move that down a little bit, yeah, that's
There
better.
it is.
Okay. Okay. And then we have one more, yes, of course, must button the jacket. That's it.